Oh, that's a bit of a bummer. For some reason I'm getting an error on my page for Mastodon or Fediverse. Follow up on that at some point. We'll see. In any case, we've got 2 puzzles to do today. So let's get going on them. Checking to validate. You get 20 seconds if it validates. This does not validate. Multiple solutions. 38, 91, 34, 45, 1, 1, 8, 4, 2, 9, 9, 7, 8, 7. This is supposed to be a 5. No. Check that. All right. 20 seconds. Add a minor major, I don't know, issue this morning or yesterday morning. I ran into difficulty. Somebody looks like somebody punched one of my tires. All right. So start with the ones. You see, we got 2 possibilities here. We have 1 here. Looks like I've got 3 possibilities here. Five there. 4 here, or 5 here. And 3 here. This one, this one, this one. All right, how about 3s? I'll get a 3 fill there. One of these 2 is going to be a 3. Showing 3 possibilities there. 2 possibilities here, 5 here, 5 here, and 4 here. One of these 3. Okay. 4. Maybe we should check 2. So one of these 2 is a 2. Got 3 possibilities here. 6 possibilities here, 4 here, 5 here, 3, like 4 possibilities here. All right, back to 4s. One of these 2 is a 4. Got 3 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here. And let's see. 2 possibilities here. Wide open here for now. And it looks like 4 or 3 possibilities here. No, 4 possibilities, 6, 5 possibilities. I'll get the right number right eventually. All right, how about 5s? We got a 5 here, so one of these 2 is a 5. One of these 2 is a 5. Got a 5 there, so this is a 5. That means one of these 3 is a 5. One of these 2 is a 5. One of the 4s there. However, that does mean this one is a 5, and this one here becomes a 5. That narrows this down to 2 possibilities. And we move on to 6s. We've got a 6 here. 1 6 goes in here, making that a 2. I've got 3 possibilities for a 6 here. Possibilities here, 3 here. 4 possibilities here. And 4 possibilities here. All right, sevens. One of these two will be a 7. 7 there. One of these two. Actually, this one's going to be a 7. This one will be a 7. So this is not. This is. We end up with 2 possibilities for a 7 here. 2 possibilities here. 2 possibilities here, which means this one is not a possibility. That's a 7. And we got a 3 here. This makes this a 9. But we are still stuck at 8. So this is going to be an 8, which means this is an 8. So this becomes an 8. We've got that one there. One of these two is an 8. And this one can't be, so this is going to be an 8. And this is going to be an 8. Turns this into a 5. Ooh, this one gets to be a 5 too. I missed that. And this one's a 3. That's a 5. That can't be. That's going to be 4. This will be a 5. One of these two is a 7. One of these two is a 7. One of these two is a 5. But it's not that one. It's that one because that's a 5. All right. One of these two is a 4. If one of these two is a 4, that makes one of these two a 4. One of these two is a 4, and one of these two is a 4. All right. One of these two is a 1. This one becomes a 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one of these two is a 9. That means one of these two is a 1. One of these two is a 2. That's not that one. Oh, there's a 2 here. So one of these two is a 3. We got a possibilities of a 4 here, 5 here. So one of these two is a 6. And let's see over here. One of these two is a 2. One of these two is a 6. Not that one. This one's a 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one becomes a 9. So one of these two is a 9. Not that one, so it's that one there. All right. 1, 2, or 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. Any of those could be a 6. All right, over here, let's see if we've got anything better now. So one of these two is a 2. That means a 2 is going to be down here. One of these 3 places. This is no longer possibly a 2, so we've got a 2 here, 2 here. And unfortunately, too many possibilities. 2 here. This one can't be, of course, but I'm going to unmark these 2 2s simply because we don't have any real restriction here. All we know is it can't be one of these 2. How about 1s? We've got 2 possibilities for a 1. One of these 3 is a 2. This one's going to be a 3. Nope, not that one. This one's a 3. These two is a 4. We get a 5 here. All 4 of these can be a 6. We get a 7, 8, 9. Ones. One of these two is a 2 now. 3, 4, 5. That would suggest one of these two is a 6, but I don't trust that yet. Alright, over here, one of these two is a 3. Okay, this can't be a 3. It's a 6. That makes this a 3, not a 2. So that's not a 3, also not a 2. That makes this a 3, and this a 4. So this is a 1 and a 4 here. And not a 4 here, so this is a 4. This can't be a 1, so that makes this a 1, this is a 2. This is no longer a 1. It looks like that is going to be a 6. Which means this is a 6. And one of these two is a 6. This becomes a 2. A 1 here. 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes a 6. So not a 6 here, 6 here, 7 here. And we get a 9 here. And here we've got 2 possibilities for a 1. And possibilities for a 2. All right. So this can't be a 7. That makes this a 7. Turning this into a 4. This becomes a 2. This is a 4. This is a 2. So now this is a 1. This is a 2. This is a 9. This is a 1. And that was 11 minutes, 48 seconds. And now let's pull up the medium puzzle. Let's see if we can do that. Play again. Create custom. Okay, it's going to be a 7, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 5, 7, and 2, 2, 6, 4, 5, 2, 6, and 3, 9, 2, 3, 8, 9, 1, 9, 8, 7, 1. And we've got 2 left. 7, nope, not there. Okay, 7 here, and 2 here. All right, let's validate that. And you get 20 seconds to get ahead of me. So after finding my tire had been punched, got it changed or swapped for the spare. My car still has a spare at the local gas station. Then drove it up to where I got the tire last week, along with 3 others, and ended up coming back. I've got a point. Well, I don't have an appointment yet, but I'll be doing the swap out tomorrow. All right, so one of these two is a 1. Got 5 possibilities here, 4 possibilities here, 3 possibilities here, and 4 more over here. And this is not a 1, it is a possible of a 1. All right, 2. So blocked here, one of these 2 is going to be a 2. It's not going to be this one. No, it is not going to be that one. This one. This one blocks up here. All right. That means one of these 2 is a 2. I've got one of these 2 is a 2. This one blocking this one down here. And this one blocking these 2. Column is filled with 2's there. We end up with 3 possibilities for a 2 here. So let's start looking at 3's. Got a 3 here, another here, so we've got 2 possible 3's there. Over here, we've got 3 possible 3's, 5 possible 3's here, 4 possible 3's here, 3 possible here. Kind of living beta loco here. Close 2 for 3's, and then everything else is available for 3's here. All right, 4's. One of these 2 is a 4. That means one of these 2 is a 4. Here I've got 3 possibilities. 3 possibilities here. 4 possibilities here. All 5 of these are possible 4's. Here I've got 4 possible 4's. And up here we've got a given. All right. How about 5? So we got a 5 here. This one can't be a 5, so one of these 2 is a 5. That means one of these 3 will be a 5. One of these 2 is a 5. And we end up with 4 possibilities down here. 4 possibilities here. And 3 possibilities here. On to 6's. Got a 6 there, along with this one over here, says one of these 2 is a 6. Over here, we've got 4 possibilities, 3 possibilities, 3 possibilities here and here. Nope, 2 possibilities here. One of those 2. Here we've got 5 possibilities. And that's all I can do at this point. How about 7? Well, one of these 2 is a 7. I've got a 7 going in here. So one of these 2 is a 7. Here we've got a 7. Here we've got a 7. So one of these 2 is a 7. That means this one isn't, this one is, and this becomes a 6 here. That makes that into a 6, and that's a 6. Here we've got 3 possibilities for a 6. So we get this as a 6, and that drops down to just this one, which means that's not, that is. We were still looking at 7's, though. One of these 2 and one of these 2. And that's all I can do for 7's. How about 8's? We've got an 8 here. This is blocked. So one of these 2 is an 8. And one of these 2 will be an 8. 8 here, here, and here means one of these 2 is an 8. I've got 3 possibilities here. Here we've got 4 possibilities. And I'm showing 4 possibilities here as well. All right, how about 9? Got a 9 here. One of these 2 will be a 9. got a 9 here, so we're looking at 3 possibilities there, 3 possibilities there. We got a 9. Oh, that poses a problem. All right. Oh, this becomes a 9. So not a 9 here, that's a 9. And one of these two is a 9. Here we've got a 9 going in there. That means that's a 9, this is an 8, this is a 9. And that becomes a 9. One of these two is an 8. One of these 3 is a 1. One of these 2 is an, oh, no, not a 2. Three possibilities for a 3 here. 4, 5, 6, 7. One of these two is an 8. 9. So 3 possibilities for 1 and a 3. Have to disambiguate that a bit. Alright, so one of these two is a 1. The 8 here, that means one of these two is a 3. The 1 and 3 are both possible here. I've got 2 possibilities for a 3 here. And oh, hey, this is going to be a 3. So one of these two is a 3. And it looks like my options are 3 and 5 there, with a 2 and a 4 going here, 8 here, and 7 here. Not a 3 here. This becomes a 2. So we got a 1, 2 here, 3. One of these 3 is a 4. One of these is 5, 6, 7. One of these 2 is an 8. One of these 2 is an 8. One of these 2 is a 1, 2, 3. All 3 of these can be a 4. Let's see. This can't be a 5, so one of these two will be a 5. So the wild card here is a 4. Over here, I've got 4 possibilities for 1, 2, 3. 3 possibilities for 4. So the same 3 can be a 5. Get a 6 here. One of these two is a 7. 8 is going to be one of these two. We get a 9. All right. So again, one of these 3 is a 1. 2, 3. Neither of these can be a 4 or 5. So we got 3 each of 4s and 5s here. 6. One of these two is a 7, so I'm going to go one of these two being a 1. All right. Up here, we got a known 1-3 option here, but that doesn't mean it's a pair yet. So all three of these can be a 1. I'm just going to go flood fill them because, you know, we're kind of stuck there. And one of these two is a 4. Now let's go ahead and flood fill here. We've got everything that can be a 1 here. 2. And 3 possibilities is a 3 here. 4s, 5s, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So all three of these can be a 1. All three get to be potentially a 3. Oh wait, this one does not get to be a 3. So we've got 2 possibilities for 3, 2 for 8, and 3 for a 1. All right. One of these two is a 1. Well, if I go ahead and mark the 4s and 5s here with the 8, that means that, yeah, one of these two gets to be a 1. So not the one there. That's going to be a 3. So we can clean up the 3s here and here. That can't be a 3 anymore. Don't know which of these will be a 3. We'll come back. All right. I've got 3 possibilities. 1, a 2, 2 possibilities for 3, 2 possibilities for 4. We've got a 5 there. This becomes a 5 and a 3 here. This becomes a 3 here, a 1 here. This becomes a 4. So neither of these are 1. This is a 3 and an 8. That makes this a 1 and an 8. Okay, neither of these get to be 1, so that's the 1, so that's not. That makes this a 5 and this a 4. So now we can clean up that 4 there. This becomes a 4. This cannot be a 4 or a 5, so it's an 8. So not an 8 there. Got an 8 there, so this is an 8, not this one. So one of these two is a 4, and one of these two is a 5. This can't be a 5, so one of these two is. Oh, not a 4 here. That means one of these 3 or 4 is not a 4, or is a 4, and possibly this one is not. All right, so let's back up on that. I'm going to start from the beginning again, and this time let's just go ahead and from the top down, flood fill everything. That's 9s, we've got 8 there, so 3 possibilities there. 5 over here for an 8. 4 possibilities here. 3 or 2 possibilities here. 3 possibilities there. And we get to do 4 possibilities here. All right, and that's 8 on the board. 7. So that can't be 7, so we just get those two. One of these two is a 7 because I've got these two columns filled or blocked. And these two is a 7. Here we've got 4 possibilities for a 7. This one becomes a 7. That's not. So now we're down to 2 possibilities here, and that combination means that's a 7. And that's 7. So how about 6s? Well, we get a 6 here, means a 6 here, and a 6 here. That makes this into a 6. This becomes a 6. And this is going to be a 6. So one of these two is a 5. Get a 5 here, so one of these two becomes a 5. Over here, one of these two is going to be a 5. Down here, all 4 of those are possible. Five is going to be one of these 3. So go ahead and mark them because we're flood filling. And it looks like all 3 of these can be a 5. And I've got 4 possibilities for 5 here. Okay, 4s. We got a 4 here. One of these two is going to be a 4. One of these two will be a 4. Four possibilities here. 3 up here. 3 here as well. These two. I've got 4s in all places where I've got a 5 here. One of these 3 is a 4. 3. One of these 2 is a 3. Up here, I've got 3 possible 3s. 4 possible 3s here. Three possible 3s here. All 4 of these are potentially a 3 at this point. We'll go ahead and flood fill over here. Don't see anything blocking. One of these 2 is a 3. All right, 2s. We've got a 2 here. That can't be a 2. But we got a 2 here, so one of these 3 will be a 2. One of these 2 will be a 2. That makes this a 2. One of these 2 will be a 2. And we are down to 1s. One of these 2 is a 1. One of these 2 is a 1. Here I've got 4 possibilities. I've got 3 possibilities here, 4 here. All of those are possible. I carry some of that energy over here as well. All right. So 1, 3 pair, so this becomes a 9, an 8, and a 2. That can't be an 8 anymore, nor can that. This one's going to be an 8. This is a 5, 3, and 2, 4, and 7 here. 1, 3, 1, 3, so not a 3 here or here. There's a 4 here, so not a 4 here. That's a 4. We got a 5, 5, 2. This can't be a 2. It's a 3. That's a 2. This is a 5. So not a 5 there. That becomes a 3. Not a 3 there. These two will be not a 3. It's going to be a 1, 4. And down here we get a 5. Leaving a 4 and a 1 here. Not a 1, not a 1, not a 1, not a 4, not a 4. This one becomes a 3, a 9 here. And this becomes a 5. Okay, that says this can't be a 3. It's going to be a 1. Turning this into a 4. We have 2 3s here. One of them came first, so let's take a look at that. Okay, that's because it's a standalone 3. So not a 3 there, not a 3 here. Not a 3 there or there means that's the 3, which would have blocked that one anyway. That 3 and that 3 mean none of these can be a 3, including that one, so that's a 3. We got a 1, 4 pair here, so not a 1 on either of those. 8, 9 pair here. It can't be a 3, so that's a 5. 8, 9, 8, 9 ones. 8, 9, 8, 9. 4, 1, 4, 1. 4, 5, 4, 5, 1. 4, 5, 1. We get a 1, a 4, 5. So not a 5 here or here. That gives me a problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Oh, by the way, that's going to be a 1. This would be a 4. So we're missing both 4 and 1. We're missing our last digit, which in the column should be a 9. So we get to start all over again. And let's go from the bottom. One of these two is a 1. One of these 3 is a 1. One of these 4 is a 1. One of these 4 is a 1. Over here, we've got 5 possibilities for a 1. Like everything could potentially be a 1 here, 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 And we're on to looking at 2's. This column is done with 2's. One of these 2 will be a 2. I've got 3 possibilities for a 2 here. 4 possible 2's up there. A 2 here. So not a 2 here or here. All right, 3. Got a 3 here. 3 possibilities for 3 here. 5 possibilities here. 3 here and here, so 2 possibilities for 3 here. Here are 4 possibilities at the moment. 3 possibilities there. Everything's an opening here for 3, and we're going to do the same over here. Over here, one of these 2 is a 4. One 2 becomes a 4. Down here, we've got 4 possibilities. Here, I've got 3 possibilities. 3 possibilities. 4 possibilities here. Much funding. So 5. Now these 2 is a 5. I've got 4 possibilities for a 5 down here. 4 possibilities here. Here we've got 5 possibilities. That can't be a 5, so one of these 2 is 5, so one of these 2 is not. 5 here and here, which means one of these 2 is a 5, and I believe that's all the 5. Wait, nope, we've got this one here, don't we? I'm showing that can't be a 5, so I've got 3 possibilities. All right, 6's. One of these 3 is a 6. One of these 3 is a 6. We've got a 6 here. One of these 2 is a 6. That can't be a 6. That can be, and that can be. These 2 are blocked. Either of these could be any number. All right, how about 4? Okay, so what's this? Four possibilities there. 2 here, 3 here. And it looks like 6's are done. What's 7's? Top row's done. One of these 2 is a 7. These 2 is a 7. One of these 2 is a 7. And it looks like I've got 4 possibilities here. And these 2, but that can't be a 7. So that turns that into a 7, clears these 2. One of these 2 will be a 7. One of those 2 will be a 7. One of these 2 will be a 7, which means that's a 7. That's not. All right, eights. I've got 2 possible 8s here, 3 possible 8s here, 5 possible 8s here, 3 possible 8s there, 4. Down here we've got 4 8 or 5 8s. All right, I think that's all the 8. Okay, that says these two can't be 8. So we've got 3 4 8s to put in down here. All right, 9s. Got a 9 here, here, 9 here. So one of these two is a 9. This can't be a 9, so one of these two is a 9. Means one of these two is a 9. Here I've got 3 possibilities for a 9. 3 possibilities for a 9 here. Two possibilities for a 9 here. All right. So do I have some doubles I can work with? Not running across a lot. 145, 145, 5 3 7 4 3 7 1. All right. Okay, we get a 6 here. So not a 6 there or there. That makes this a 6. Says these two cannot be a 6. That's going to be a 6 now. That makes this a 6. That cannot be. These two cannot be. So this is a 6. That's not, this is. 1 3 1 3 means none of these can be a 3. Also can't have a 3 in either of those. Don't have 1s in either of them, so it's there. 1 3 1 3 here means not a 1, not a 1 or 3. 8 9 here means not an 8 there, there, or there. One of these two is a 9. And one of these two is as well. One of these two is an 8. That's an 8. One of these two is an 8. Okay. Got two possibilities for 2 there. 3 down here.